away for 2 weeks, a week and a half. Let me tell you what happened. It was actually quite, funny or concerning. Because what actually happened is that the ventilator, the thing that is supposed to keep it nice and cool, or at least not too hot inside the laptop, that was going pretty frantically, causing the, what's the word? Let me see, I don't know the word in English. In Dutch it would be behuizing. Basically like the plastic outer shell. I don't know what's the correct word. But basically the outside, the plastic outside of the laptop, it became open. There was a screw that literally got drilled out of there, out of its place, because of the ventilator, overheating, I think, or maybe it was just the wrong frequency. I don't know. I'll tell you the story from the beginning, but when I noticed this happened, I brought it back to the company where I bought it, which is actually a company that I love. Their customer service is really, really well. So they took it in, and they sent it to the company that made the laptop. It's an Acer. And then they, I want to say repaired, but basically they replaced several things on the inside and on the outside. Let me just tell you the story chronologically. So I bought this laptop in August last year, in the summer of last year. And that was when I just started my company. And I was about to have my last day at the newspaper where I used to work. So I had to return my laptop, the laptop that I was using. So I was like, okay, I might need a new laptop, because I did still have a MacBook Air, but that was an oldie, I think it was from 2014, maybe 15. But it was pretty slow, and also I once dropped, I want to say water, but it wasn't water, it was like ranja, like soda, no, like the thing. It doesn't matter, some kind of liquid I poured over it. And I had it repaired back then, but it never fully recovered. Somehow the battery would occasionally just randomly die, and it was slow, and it wasn't as good anymore. So I decided to buy a new laptop, and one thing that made me really happy about buying a new laptop, actually two things, but first of all, if you have a business, you can write off your business expenses, meaning that if you buy stuff for the business, you can, I'm looking for the correct English term, like math, you can distract, no, what's the word, to do like a minus thing, subtract, I think it's subtract. Wow, sometimes it's so hard to talk in a different language. It's like, I know the words, they are right there in my brain, and if it would be the other way around, if a person would say the words, my brain would immediately know what it means, but it's way harder the other way around if you have to come up with the words yourself. Subtract, that might be, anyway, basically it means that if you buy stuff for your company, your income, your yearly income will get lowered by that same amount, meaning that you have to pay less taxes. when I don't know, I've played it forever, but I've never had a computer that could manage to run the game on like high settings. I always had to, you know, put the settings on like average, medium at best, or at low, you know, usually at low. And on my old MacBook Air, I could definitely play The Sims, but the settings would have to be, well, lowest of the lowest of the lowest. So that means that the whole game is slower, it doesn't look as good. It's a lesser experience. So when I was about to buy a new laptop, I was like, okay, this is my chance to get a laptop that allows me to play The Sims, like, well. So what I did, I went to the store that I love, and I explained to them what I wanted to do, all the things for my business, and then I would also really like to play The Sims. Although even The Sims, I now have YouTube incorporated in my business. So even playing The Sims, I create YouTube videos. So even that is sort of in the business now. Well, I mean, it's kind of, the thing is, the income that I earn with YouTube, which is not a lot, I do categorize that as like real income, so I pay taxes over that. And I did not do that before. Before I started a company, it was just like, well, it was like a really small amount. And I even called the office of, you know, the National Tax Office wants to ask. And they were like, yeah, if you're starting to earn like good money with YouTube, you definitely have to pay taxes. However, if it's just like a hobby and the amount that you earn is less than the money you spent on a camera, you know, like basically it's still a hobby, you know, it's not like, then it's okay, then it's fine. But then I was like, okay, but where is the boundary? When do you go from hobby to professional? Because there's clearly a gray area. And they agreed about the gray area, and they didn't have an answer for me. And I think that's because the law doesn't explicitly state something, and they might be hesitant to say a number or something because they feel like, yeah, we don't know what the future will hold. This is not our decision. This might be a political decision. Anyway, I didn't get a clear answer, so I hesitated for a while. But then when I started my company, I was like, okay, you know, this might be a time to change it all and just see all the income as so now last couple of months, year, I've been changing a lot, and now YouTube is also in my business, even though it's just like a really tiny income stream. So yeah, so that's that. Let me see. I'm completely off track. What was I even talking about? Oh yes, the laptop. Wow. I just started to explain about the income taxes, and I just by now I'm sure you're all asleep. Okay. So, they told me what laptop I should get, and there were like several options. And then I picked the most expensive one. I think it almost was, or it was just about, I don't know, I was around €1,000, which will probably be like $1,200 or something like that. So I bought that one, and I brought it home, and I started playing The Sims. And indeed, it was very good for playing The Sims. It looked beautiful. It was fast. It was just all the settings could go on high or even ultra, and I was like, wow. There was just one thing that I didn't like all that much, and that was that the ventilator did make quite a lot of noise, especially if I would play The Sims for like 30 minutes at a time. Then after a couple of minutes it would just make a lot of noise. And the thing that I don't like about that, if I would record it would be convenient for me to play The Sims and record a whisper video at the same time, and then record the footage of me playing, and then I would have a whisper video. But the thing is, if the ventilator is pretty loud, the microphone will pick up the sound of the ventilator. And I haven't even tried that yet, because I just figured it would be, I mean, a little background noise can be nice sometimes. Well, some people think so, other people don't. But this feels like excessive even for the people who like it, although I could try, obviously, because sometimes with the recording of audio, you just, I mean, I'm surprised sometimes. Sometimes I feel like there's a lot of noise outside, and then it isn't that bad. And sometimes it's just quite the opposite. I feel like, oh, this was pretty smooth, and then I listen to it again and I'm like, oh wow, there's actually a lot of background noise. Why? Anyway, the ventilator. However, I was like, okay, this isn't like a faulty laptop. The thing is, first of all, computers get hot inside, so they need ventilators. That's just, that's the way it is. And then the more you use the capacity of the computer, the hotter it will get, so the more ventilation you will need. And then if you want a laptop instead of a desktop, a laptop is small, meaning that all the components are pretty close together, meaning that it gets even hotter because there isn't like an airflow going on by itself, which means that you will need an even louder ventilator. So I was like, okay, the ventilator is pretty loud, which is annoying because I would like to record, and it's annoying nonetheless. It also got pretty hot. Sometimes I was like, if I put this on a newspaper accidentally, I'm not sure if I might start a fire. Well, that didn't happen obviously, but I just figured that was just like a regular downside of using a laptop. But I really wanted a laptop because I was like, I'm gonna work outside, in a park, in a coffee place, in the library, I don't know, I'm gonna work all over the place. Then the real long big lockdown happens, and the laptop hardly left the house at all for a year. So I could have bought a desktop, which would have solved my problem with the recording, I think. But yeah, too late for that now. So the thing is, what happened a couple of weeks ago? Suddenly I couldn't close the lid of the laptop all the way, and when I would try to close it, it would feel like it would almost break off. So I figured there would be some kind of mechanical problem, but I was kind of surprised because I'm really cautious with it. And like I said, the laptop has just been inside forever, and my son never gets close to it. I'm really doing my best to keep the laptop safe. So I was like, how can it be like a mechanical thing? It's like it didn't fall down, I didn't bump into anything. This laptop is basically here on my desk, doing nothing except for me typing on the keyboard. Yeah, how can this happen? And then when I investigated a little bit further, I discovered that the outer I'm at loss for a word. The outer shell, like the thing, the gasket, I don't know. It was open a little bit. It was loose, and it turned out if you turn the laptop upside down, you'll see a couple of really tiny screws that hold the thing together. And if you screw them open, you can, basically look inside the laptop. also I thought like the solution is probably simple because I can just screw it tight again. I'm sorry if I'm completely butchering these words. I don't know. I don't know the English words. I'm just trying my best here. So I got a screwdriver, and I was kind of worried because it felt like a really tiny screw. I was like, this is not gonna fit. But I had like a regular cross thingy, like the plus sign screwdriver, but it fitted. So I screwed it tightly again, and then the problem seemed gone. I could close the lid again, and I was like, oh yeah, this fixes it. So I felt relieved, and also kinda worried / curious, because I was like, how did this happen? Why would a screw? Why? It doesn't make sense. But at least it was solved, so I was like, okay, let's see. If this is just gonna be a one-time thing, then I'm happy, and we'll see. So, as you might have guessed, it wasn't a one-time thing. I think it was about 2 weeks, but that's kind of I'm estimating here. But in about 2 weeks, the lid, the outer shelf, no, not the lid, the outer shelf had just opened again. And again, there was a rather, big, but I mean, it was like I could almost put my finger inside. It's that kind of big. And again, the screw was loose. And at that moment, it started to dawn on me like, wait a minute, the ventilator is also on this side of the laptop. And the ventilator sometimes is going really, really, really fast and is really loud. And so far I thought that was just normal, but what if it isn't? And what if the ventilator is actually somehow creating an interference, and what's somehow causing this? And then I was like, well, that actually makes sense, because there is no way that in 2 weeks' time this screw was gonna be loose by itself. Like, that surprised me, even if it would have happened in a year, but in like 2 weeks. And I also noticed, or I thought I noticed that the ventilator was causing more and more noise as time progressed. So at this point I called the company and I explained the situation, and they asked me to come in. So I went to the company, the store, and I brought the laptop and I explained the problem to them, and they were like, what is happening? And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of surprised too, but I think this is what's going on. Well, this is what I see that is happening, and my own idea is that it might be caused by the ventilator. And they were like, oh, that's kind of odd. And I was like, well, yes, it is. And then they checked if it was like a common problem, like a problem that regularly occurs. Apparently they have some sort of database with all the brands and the product types and the product numbers, and I don't know, they can check if sometimes apparently problems happen more often, and in that case they can immediately tell you like, okay, this is probably what's gonna happen, this is a known thing, this will be the fix, it will take this long, like that. So they checked and they were like, yeah, no, nobody's having this problem. Well, no, they didn't say nobody, but it was definitely not a common thing. So then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not completely sure, but I think this is what's going on. And also, I am using the laptop for gaming, and I am, I do put the settings on ultra. But then again, this laptop should be able to do that, to handle that. That's why I bought this laptop. And the laptop can handle it, meaning the graphics are beautiful, it's fast, the processor doesn't cause problems, it's just the ventilator and the cooling and that. So they were like, okay, yeah, we'll just give the laptop to us and then we'll take a look. And this person explained that they would first take a look themselves, just the company that sells the laptop, and then if they can't figure it out, they send the laptop happened? Well, then I got an email after a couple of days that was stating basically that they didn't know, they couldn't solve it themselves, so they were gonna send the laptop to the company that made it, and that they did not have a good estimation on how long it would take or what would happen, because it was such a not common problem. So then what happened? Then what happened? Nothing for a few days, and then I got another email that was yesterday actually, that said like, yeah, your laptop is repaired, and you can pick it up again. So I was like, oh wow, that's actually pretty quick, or well, quick. I mean, at this point, because it was an uncommon problem, I felt like this is gonna take forever. So I was actually kind of surprised, although it was a while still. So I picked it up, and in the email that they sent me, I could already see that the solution was that they had replaced stuff, but it didn't state any specifics. So I went to the store, I picked up the laptop, and I asked this person like, okay, but do you know what actually happened, what they did, what was the problem? And then he had this list, and he was actually kind of surprised himself. He was like, oh wow, they actually changed a lot. Turns out they agreed with me what was the cause of the problem. Well, I mean, they found that to be indeed a problem. It's, yeah. And they replaced the ventilator, but also some cooling elements, and then something else, and I forgot. And then they also replaced all the plastic on the outside of the laptop, meaning that I have a completely new keyboard and everything. And at last step I was like, oh, but wow, because the plastic, it wasn't broken or anything. If you would just tighten the screw, it was fine. So I was like kind of surprised by, why would they do that? And then the person in the store was kind of surprised by all the stuff on the inside that they replaced. He was like, you have like half a new laptop. But he said like, sometimes that the company does stuff like that basically because if they're not completely sure, or they're kind of hesitant if something will be enough or not, they will usually do more, because if they try to do it cheap, like they only do the stuff that I think is really necessary, like, let's just send it back and see what happens. But then some of the laptops need to be returned again because the problem still isn't solved. He says that's way more expensive for them, because then they have to handle it twice, and people have to work on it twice. So he's like, usually this is what happens, they want to be quick about it, and not too many. Yeah, apparently the people working on it, they're also expensive, obviously, just in the hours that those people work. So I don't know how expensive, but apparently, I don't know, this is what he told me. But still, he was also kind of surprised by the amount of things that they replaced on the inside. So yeah, since yesterday my laptop is back. It was completely wiped. They had already warned me about this. They were like, get everything off of it beforehand, because they will probably reset the whole thing. And lucky for me, I have been using an external hard drive since the beginning, so I do save some stuff on my desktop, but not as much, and everything else is on the hard drive. I don't use anything else. And also for my job, I don't install lots of programs. I can do a lot online. So basically, it wasn't too much of a hassle. I just exported all my bookmarks so that I could import saved one save file, the one that I was playing with a lot, the one that also is the video that I uploaded recently, the Shara video. She's in that world. Basically everybody. I'm gonna give you guys a tour of the world, and then I'm gonna tell you more about. Yeah, we'll get to that soon. Now that I have a laptop again. Yeah. So yesterday I downloaded all the Sims games, well, all the expansion packs and stuff. So it's all on my laptop now again, and basically it's sort of working. So it's now Sunday night, and my son just went down to sleep, and yeah, I thought let's record this video and then I'm gonna play because I wanna. So yeah, that's actually what happened. And let's see, I feel like there now needs to be some sort of closing remarks, but I'm like at a blank. I'm like, yeah, I have nothing more to say. Anyway, thank you for your patience, because there weren't uploads for a little bit, and for if you're still listening, then thank you for your patience because you're still listening, and wow. Wait, if you're still listening, then please leave me a comment, because that helps me with the algorithm, and leave me a comment with your favorite emoji. No, let's leave me a comment with 3 emojis, and those emojis have to tell me about your day. I like that. Is this too complicated? Now let me think myself what I would choose for today. I would choose sunglasses because my son wore sunglasses for the first time today. Well, I had these baby sunglasses a long time ago and I tried them on, but he never liked it. And even now, I didn't have sunglasses for him anymore because I just knew like he's gonna throw them away, so it's don't bother. But then my mom was like, oh, but he might like it if the sun is shining very brightly, and I was like, yeah, sure, but I'm not gonna force him. So then she bought him sunglasses. Okay, that's what grandmas do, sure, right? So I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I even explained it beforehand to him, and he was very hesitant, and it was almost like he was a little bit scared. But then he did try it on, and he left it on for like 10 minutes, and it was like he was impressed. Like he just was like, oh wow, what's going on? Like fascinated, but also a little bit scared. It was kind of funny to see. So for me, one of the emojis definitely gonna be the sunglasses. Then I also want a emoji that symbolizes the Sims. I think I'm gonna do the laptop, because then I can combine the laptop and the Sims, because otherwise the Sims I can mostly think about a game console, but I'm using the laptop. So if I do the laptop, then I have the laptop thing. Although the laptop feels like it should be the emoji of yesterday, because I could pick it up yesterday, but it's now here again. So okay, sunglasses, laptop, and let's see, what else am I gonna pick? Maybe, oh yeah, one of those what's the word, lollipops, like an ice cream, but like the watery kind, not the creamy kind. And then I don't know if these are international thing, voor